Alright, hey everyone. Hope you're doing well. Jared Napolitano, JNap here. I'm going to review some recent games of mine. I have 5 open games. 3 of them are from the OCS from February that I lost. And then I'm going to stream a replay of my GEMPC round of 16, or not round of 16, round of 32 match versus Charlie Arlinson. I know a lot of new and returning players find these game reviews helpful. So hopefully, if you're a new returning player or just a player looking to get better, not that I'm an expert or anything, but I think these are helpful in kind of me reflecting on my decisions and lines of play. And I think that obviously in losses, I think most people agree that you learn a little bit more in your losses than your wins. So we'll go through, hopefully, try to keep each game to maybe 10, 15 minutes. I also have 2 other games, replays, one of mine and one from someone else, from the Retro League, that I'm, depending how I'm feeling, prepare to Hoth. Maybe I'll do those, but I'll probably stop and restart a new stream. So thanks for tuning in, whether you're live or on replay. Again, I know Gogolin used to do this type of series a lot, and I think it was helpful to me. So trying to pay it forward a little bit, and hopefully other players kind of do the same. But I know sometimes it's better to review someone else's. I think it's better to, me personally, I enjoy reviewing my own because I can kind of talk through my process. So I'll jump in here. So maybe I'll try to give a little quick background. So I'm playing against Charlie. He was a 5 seed. I was a 4 seed. I should have been a little lower. I haven't been quite on my game on the last half a year. But that gave me the luxury of picking side first. So kind of my thought process was, I felt like I had a couple options with light, whether I can, depending on how I did with game 1. But dark, I just wanted to kind of play the best deck. So I had this Rots Dooku deck, possibly anticipating Charlie's excellent player, and he could play a lot of different stuff like Old Allies or 0 Hour or No Idea or Quiet Mining Colony, or he might play the New Allies, the Anakin deck that Drew won San Diego with. So a bunch of different things, tried to address them. I had been doing, and I kind of liked the beef red Rots Dooku with the Japanese Palace start. But kind of going into this, I was like, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. I'll pause and play this here and there. But I didn't want to risk going against mains where they would just, cram that Jabba's Palace, take it over. It becomes a liability in a way of Journey 2. That can become a Journey 3 if there's a lightsaber there for a light side. Then you're kind of messing over to Projection of Skywalker can go on, and of course there's counters to Projection of Skywalker. But so I kind of audibled really like within a day or two, just switched up my deck and did the Naboo system start, which I think I saw Brad Kibble do this, but with this new effect, I thought it might be helpful, get the activation up, the combo effect here. If you occupy a Naboo system with a Separatist starship, your Force Generations +1 there, and then I think the actual system, if you control here with a Separatist starship, your Force Generations. So you're giving up 2 icons here in space, which I think is better against mains, against like QMC or Old Allies or even 0 Hour. One of the tech things I put in here was Tehao, who can be pulled by Lord Sidious, since he's a Nemoidian. You guys reduce their drains in space. You could reduce it at Mandalore too if they're playing that. Maybe a little niche, but thought that might come in handy and just kind of stack the invisible hand and move around. Might also help. I thought Charlie might have played Watch Your Step. Like I said, he could play a lot of decks, so I just wanted to go with something that had space and ground. My opening hand here, I have 2 Sidious, no Dooku. I think in this game, it took me a while to find Dooku. So I got this one sight out with the combo effect, and I like this sight in here because you put like Sidious here, you get his icon, you get an icon from the site, and then Jedi are deploy +2 here. Of course, Charlie here is going with the Pyres, heading for Medical Frigate, which I think kind of came onto the scene last summer when Joe Olson played it at Nationals, and it's just like a force denial deck. Allows you to start like my father before me and use Jedi Luke to do Jedi Luke things. So and then this is something I think or maybe the second turn I'll get into it. I just really need an activation. So even though I put out the hallway. I'm still only activating 7. You know, I can't really go to... I just didn't know what a space package was, whether he had Han Chewie Falcon or whether he had Tidarium or Han Chewie Falcon. So the whole game I'm kind of like wondering, like, what does he have there? What is safe to go to space? When is it safe? So I think what ended up happening is I played it cautious from a space perspective. As he gets Boss Nass's chambers out. He's going to hit his activation pretty early. I think he plays all 3 1-0 docking bays. Well, eventually we're going to see he does put the battle planes out. All right, so I just go Sidious here. I figure I got a barrier, I got a Force Lightning, I got a Lana Dobry combo. I'm not really worried about getting overflowed here. Figure I get my activation up. Of course, I think I activate the Saber. No, I didn't. Okay, so Sidious is Saber here. But no, I consciously did not put out the Battleground docking bay. I just didn't want to give him a site to go to. And this is what I think happens. This is kind of like my approach with Black Sun as well. And when I see some players playing Black Sun against mains and they just instantly put out all those 2-1 Coruscant Battleground sites, in my experience, I feel like you just lost the game because you're just giving light side a place to just stack their Rey, their Luke, their Anakin, all their strong characters, and then they're just threatening a drain of 3 that now you instantly have to deal with. And of course, the trade-off is you're capping yourself in activation, but sometimes it's like the patience game where you can kind of say, all right, well, yeah, I'm giving myself 2 less icons when I'm giving my opponent 1 less. So it's like a net 1 as you just kind of try to establish and find your key cards. All right, so I put City Side here, they're entering a 2. I got the force field to back him up as well. And I think in this game, I think Charlie had a really hard time finding his Jedi Lukes, maybe, or I don't know, but Jedi Luke didn't show up for several turns. And this was a weird play from Charlie too. I think in retrospect, I think he would kind of think this didn't really have that much value. I think he had a couple turns where he paid 3 to drain 1 here, but this of course is a force drain -1 unless clone army character. So I think like Ayla Sakura might qualify as that. Maybe like Captain Rex. But yeah, so he pulls battle plan. I'm okay to drain for 3. I mean, I'm not. He's out activating me by a ton, and I don't really have enough force to kind of put a credible fleet at Naboo system. So I just draw here, play conservative, try to build my hand. 2 Dooku's, a Gik, a URB, and lots of good stuff in my force pile. Another ship that I can use to react and back up the invisible hand if I need to. Of course, I draw here, and I don't... The replay's blocked here. Yeah, I think I did the Dark Jedi lightsaber. I didn't draw either of the 2 Dooku's. And I think I used the point man to find the URB, which I could use defensively or offensively with the exclude that Lord Sidious does. And here Charlie does pay 3 to drain for 1. I throw away my useless starting interrupt. He's going to get Unita to get his sand back. I think this was frustrating too because I had the 2 Dooku's in my force pile, and it took me a while to eventually find them because I think they're just at the bottom of the force pile, which isn't good. He doesn't grab the point man, which I thought he might have. All right, so he just verifies Wisa. He puts out his 2/2, gives me 2 icons. I'm like hilariously getting out activated here, 19 to 11. But I figure like he probably has some token space, so I kind of think in the long game, it'd be good if I have battle plan. I think that's what really helps me in this matchup is that ultimately as the game gets tight and late, and we have I played the new shield here as he was at 15. But, he's got, I think I used interrupt or 2 that he can cycle, so he avoids the kind of me putting his, 6 to 8 cards back. Here's where I use the Lord Sidious pull a Nemoidian to get Tehao. He gets a forfeit bonus of 2 because of this effect. Republic characters ability less than 4, and those starships are also forfeit +2. So like this thing is forfeit 9, deploys 2 as a react, assuming it doesn't get canceled. So this turn I go to space with the hand. Figure I have the barrier to back it up. I have Tehao. So between the barrier and the reacting ship, which this thing from good old Virtual Set 0 deploys as a react for -3. So I figure worst case scenario I can barrier. If the barrier gets canceled or if he has a second ship, I could then react with the ship, which then can soak 9. And then I could, maybe reinforce with some pilots like Shizor or Devazan in a pinch. Eat the drain of 2 here. This is accelerate and force push. This is an interesting play. So there we see a Jedi Luke and a couple ones with Qui-Gon and Anakin as a returning player. Most surprised to see that ship inspired. Yeah. I was just looking at some retro deck that had like Spiral and like Falcon. And it was interesting to see like Spiral is like the second ship in like a premiere to Endor. Alright, so he plays an extra shield. He just squats with Ahsoka in front of Sidious. Sand Whirl stacks, I think the Gik Puller, yeah, Escape Pod, and Risa. So now I get the activation bump. So like I said earlier, I get +1 from this effect since I control it. And I get +1 from the Naboo system. So he loses Clash, Run Luke Run from hand. I go Shizor. And now this looks pretty good because I think, did I see a Hoojix? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just trying to get rid of Ahsoka. And I figure I got a lightsaber. I can get at least force him to burn a sand card with Newt, who adds Destiny, of course, with Sidious, and just try to get rid of Ahsoka. I guess I could have played Force Lightning to reduce, but I figured maybe he grabs it then I can't use it, or I probably overthought this, or maybe he's got the female interrupt that cancels weapon destinies. So I just didn't want to, I guess, burn it. And then, of course, I draw Ozzel, like Sith Fury him to redraw, and I think I still miss, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that's bad. And one of the cool things I like about this deck is there's very few, obviously, zeros and ones, and even the zeros and ones are pretty much all pullable between Imperial commands. I think I have 3 commands in here. Or, like, Shizor and Mara are probably, like, 2 of the only non-pullable ones. And, of course, I draw the Mara. And he's going to shuffle. So I see the Hoojix, which, of course, he can pull because he can now, yeah, he can do this. So he's doing that in case he draws low and I draw high. Doesn't want to lose overflow. And yeah, so he does have that, or he has the female interrupt, which I grab because I don't want him like adding to the force drain here. He draws, I think we both draw like tons of ones here, which I know his deck has got lots of high destinies. His main character is Destiny 6. He's probably got 4 or 5 copies of him. So he does draw a 5 for Battle Destiny, and he's got to lose 3, and I just lose Shizor to the attrition, and he peels 3, including 3PO, which is kind of big. But I think he maybe gets him back somehow. Alright, so he's got his drain here. I'll speed up a little bit. Of course, I draw 2 more Sidiouses. Still don't have my Dooku's. Here comes Luke. I'm going to let him go. Yeah, given that he's activated everything. Comes down with Lando. Kind of thinking I might have a chance for like a counter beat here. With a You Are Beaten. Or a Force Lightning. Or a Vazen. You know, a bunch of different things. Options here. Of course, I figure, you know, he probably has like a Lana Dobreed. Or not Lana Dobreed. Obed Nestlor and First Aid combo. You know, maybe he's got the clashes in the Lost Pile. He doesn't have Bionic Hand. Yeah, we both have lots of tricks. Maybe he's got to start at the mess. But I do have a force field to protect my strong characters. I still have that floating 1. And I also have that floating bridge, I guess. And I go with Grievous. This is a decision. I think I took a while to decide what exactly do I want to do here. I definitely wanted to make sure I held back some force, given how much he was activating. Make sure I didn't want to completely become vulnerable at the system. Grievous is barriered, right? But I have Aura, Avazan, lots of fun stuff here. I Force Lightning Luke, risk the fact that he might grab it. Lando becomes a tank. He's now powered 12. This was bad. I think I think I learned this lesson. I think this is what better players than I do. They know when to just anticipate the blaster deflection or the force field and kind of play it a little safer. I think what I was worried about here was, again, like a mess, a clash. So I was trying to get rid of Luke first, knowing I had like, you know, another swing possibly, and that I zapped his defense value. So I really wanted to get rid of Luke. It would have caused a ping. He asked for a revert here. I think, yeah, he passed his action. That's what happened by accident. So he went backwards. Then went back forward again, did the same thing. I don't have the grabber anymore. He then fires at Grievous with Luke's saber. That would have been the other thing, is if I could have successfully gotten Luke, I could have stole the lightsaber as a top level action with Grievous, and then had another swing. So we got the dodge on top of the deflection. Again, maybe I should have just held the Force Lightning back and, just made sure I got rid of Lando. Maybe not gotten so aggressive, but, I still have the UR beaten in my back pocket. I'm going to have to hold the barrier again for space. Tank Lando goes away. So this battle also doesn't really go great. Fortunately, I draw at least a 5 here. And because he used sand, Ahsoka doesn't subtract. So I gotta lose somebody. In addition to Grievous. Get the ping with the Revenge of the Sith, which is my chance to plug. This is the Twitch 1-month subscription. If you're watching this, subscribe to the PC channel, not my personal one. You could do mine, but SWCCG PC is the Twitch channel. So he's got, and you get free stuff, including like rewards and foils and poker chips. So he comes back, and what are we doing here? Oh, he does start at the mess. Non-combo. Gets rid of Avazan. Gets his drain through. I'm up overall in life force. He comes down with Leia. He got 18, 24. I'm at 30. Just kind of ahead. I mean, part of the trade-off is he's got a few more cards on the table but he's got better activation. He's got all 3 1-0s out here. Docking bays. Loses Seeking. Verified there. Sorry, I probably should have. So I figured, let me just abandon the site. Give him the site. Let him get stuck there with the Drain of 2. Get in front of Rey here. And just rebuild my hand. Finally found my Dooku. Found my Gek. And figure, let's just move it over here and just try to keep pumping through this damage at the system. So speed this up. Yeah, toss the bridge. At this point, the bridge doesn't make sense. I'll see that sometimes too, and maybe I probably do this a little to a fault. But if you're a new player and you draw into your activation late game, don't bother putting it out. It's a better use to just throw that card away as to a Force Drain than to actually deploy it. And even sometimes when it's not super obvious, obviously at this point, I'm activating 13. I only have 16 cards face down. I'm gonna save Force probably each turn to do stuff. But even sometimes when maybe you get the benefit one turn, if that, maybe. Sometimes it's better. That's probably why I might do it to a fault sometimes and just throw away the card. Or conversely, it could become a liability. Not so much the bridge, because it's only a drain of 1 usually. Actually, in this case, you could have moved a Jedi there, and it could have been a drain 2 or 3. So even more reason why to throw it away. So I no escape. Figure I get this card, good old Taco Bell K for a great player card. And it can act as, it can just be huge. I think in this game it's pretty big, because you can reset any Destiny to 2. It's called Always 2 there are, and it's Destiny 4 in Revenge of the Sith decks. Alright, so I get Always 2 back, continuing to pump through these drains at 2. He's been doing a pretty good job of getting his damage through, and I just bail on the battle planes, move Sidious here, and figure, okay, let me just, hopefully battle plan just works me through this game, because he's going to have to make some tough decisions with only 12 cards face down now. I have 19. I have 1 more card in hand as I'm about to lose to this drain that I didn't pull resistance quite yet. But he replenishes his hand. Now he's only got 9 down. At this point, I think I'm thinking, all right, I'm probably going to win this game. It's just a matter of how much. I'm a little afraid he might move in front of me. And I take that back, because that's why I'm holding the Gek in case he moves 3 of these characters in front of Sidious. But even then, it's going to be really hard for Sidious to get overflowed. I really like all the cards in my hand here. I feel like they all can have utility, so I think I'd lose from reserve a little bit in some unconventional spots. Resistance comes out to cap that drain. He walklings back. Something, his Luke Saber, just to get a Force back. Sometimes I see that too. You're a new returning player, sometimes it's tough to find the Force to pay for the secret plans. You might be like, oh, I don't really need that card with Walkling. Maybe I'll wait till I can get back a better card. But at one point, it kind of becomes, especially really late game when you're paying for Force drains, paying to move people. I don't think Luke Saber was the best card for him to get, but it was a Force that he could get back. And when face down cards are a premium right now. So he comes down with Obi-Wan. I think, what did I do here? I just zapped him just to cycle it, and because he couldn't grab it then. Yeah. And he has no cards in his reserve. He's going to move Yoda. I'm kind of hoping he moves R2 in front, and I can just get that ping of 2 from P59, maybe even with a sniper. I know he's got a Jin floating around too, so I kind of want to hold on to that. I battle here, and I know that I have this. I think I saw his cards. I was basically like, if he draws a 6, that would stink. But if he draws a 5, I'm going to be safe because I could just reset it to a 2, which is exactly what I do. Or no, I take that back. So he would have missed with the Jin. He would have drawn a 7. Dooku's fence value 7. He redraws it with Jedi Lev. And then he draws a 5, which I reset to a 2. So Dooku's going to be fully immune and not hit. He's fully immune from evils everywhere. And he's going to have to lose Obi. But of course he's got resilience. But I get the ping in here, which is good. Every force matters. But now he's got Obi again. So I just put Aura off. This is another cool thing about this deck. You can go back and forth between the invisible hand sites and the starship. So you can kind of, depending on the flow of the game, it might make more sense to have them on one versus the other. But we'll go to kind of the finish here. So I barrier Anakin. He's got 1 left. I'm not really sure. It's probably more of like the cycle the barrier, but then of course he grabs it. So I'm not too afraid of Anakin killing Dooku. I think he had an action at the end of this turn. Oh no, hopefully it doesn't. Sometimes the reverb breaks the replay, which hopefully that's not the case. So again, I'm just chipping away here. I'm not draining here because I don't want Leia to just cancel the drain. This does not protect at non-battlegrounds. Opponent may not cancel at their battlegrounds where you have a Dark Jedi. So, and I didn't really want to take the approach of like, oh, let me just burn through his 2 Leias and then get a 3rd, because I think if he had to, he'd just move in front. And that really doesn't accomplish much for me. So he gets 2 cards back, and I'm never going to get the payoff of actually getting the strain through. And just the way the math worked, I figured I'd probably be okay to win without it. So now I get Dooku Saber Mara, and I just go for the kill here. I think I'm pretty confident that I can hit Anakin, draw enough, but he's got the deflection again. But then, okay, then I have Mara. I think my destinies here are all 5s, which I think I verified. Yeah, so he draws super high, so he only needs to peel 3, so that worked out pretty well. I did not finish him off there. And now we just kind of come to an ending here where I'm just tossing cards in hand to make sure my differential is as high as possible. Get these drains of 2 and 2 through, takes him down to 2 cards and 1, so now he can't really do anything. Just run away and draw. So I win by 11. All right, so that was game 1. So I felt pretty good about that. Second game, I figured, okay, I just need to win or lose by a small amount. Figured Charlie's probably going to play. My bet was like Rops or Thrawn. So that's where I loaded up good old EBO. Did not really get a lot of reps with this. I think in retrospect, I figured, well, I was a little afraid of Hunt Down V. I know New Allies plays out sometimes. Hunt Down Virtual just destroys EBO, and that's where Kifix is in here, because at least that drain bonus is not, because Hunt Down V removes the drain bonuses, but at least Kifix would still be drained too. So Rops or Thrawn was what I was expecting. I get Rops, so I'm kind of like, okay, all right, good. This is definitely a game of tactics and strategy and kind of like really assessing the situation here, and I'll talk through that. Pretty standard EBO, or very standard EBO start, I should say. But this, as we'll see, and again, Charlie's a great player. I knew he wasn't gonna like beat himself in this matchup. He knows EBO. He knows he's not gonna like walk into a space beatdown. So my opening hand, not bad. I have 5 ships, Visored Vision, maybe which my deck kind of baits a grab, and then it's like the Eric Hunter prototype with like 3PO and We're Doomed. And actually a card I took, as we'll see, for another idea from Eric later as we get through the game here. Alright, so just standard turn 1 for Charlie here for Rops. Let me speed up now while we can. Let's get Dasane out so you can then start pulling shuttles. Araidu, give me 9 force on my turn 1. End of my turn, I'm going to pull Blissex, who is awesome. He caps the drain, or caps opponent's Battle Destiny to 1, where I have 2 snub fighters in space. pretty standard turn here where I just, plop 2 sites on table, 2 generals, and get ready to activate EBO on turn 2. Let me speed through this. Get collision, which is fun. Get the Word Doom, so I don't have to worry about top decking it. Really can't complain about the draw here. I figure I'll just put somebody down at the docking bay to be able to turn on EBO. Always got to draw up here. If you're playing EBO for the first time, you don't want any of your key cards to be stuck in your force pile. The tricky thing is trying to get Haven out, because that's really big for making your deploy cost cheap for your all your nouns in space, I'll say. But you can pull it with Walkling, but you don't want it to be one of the 3 cards you activate, so you might have to punt to verify here. And I think when I open-handed Recon, that gave me a free verify at any time with strike planning, so I think I'd take advantage of that at some point, but this was brutal. So, okay, so timeout. So Charlie gets a turn 2 search and destroy. We get a funny, Surson made a funny comment in our team chat of why, because I was I'm surprised Charlie played that card. I pretty much play a lot of Prophet No Idea, for which search and destroy would be useless. But Surson was joking, why would he possibly associate anyone on our team with a all space deck? And he did that one meme of the I don't know, what is that one character? It's almost like a Sesame Street character, just looking at the camera slyly. Who would ever suspect that? But this is interesting, because I wonder what Charlie's thought process on including search and destroy in this is, because he might have just said, hey, I don't want to lose on a matchup, and YOPS, Y4 Ops, YM for Operations, or EBO are kind of matchup wins. They should do well against ROPS, I think. So he just, you're cutting another card, obviously, to put in search and destroy, but it can win you the match. So right here, I should have just been okay, search and destroy, the way my deck is constructed, and he flips, I'm going to be eating this 2 damage every cycle, which is bad. So I probably should have, in retrospect, said, okay, I won by the first game by 11. I just need to start cramming through damage. And I know his deck probably has 3 or 4 ships. He's probably got 2 shuttles and maybe 2 Star Destroyers. Maybe 1 Star Destroyer. And so I should have probably taken the approach of, all right, let me just go as wide as possible. I got a few tricks in here. And just try to cram through as many drains of 2 or 3. Kifix would be a 4 normally, but he has ROPS to take it to 3. He's going to probably activate resistance. So basically, I'm never going to drain him for more than 2. I just got to get through a bunch of drains of 2. I'm going to have to pay for them. I'm going to be eating this damage. And that should just be my approach. Instead, I kind of went with my approach of, I want to kick him out of space to enable battle order, make us sure we both have to pay for battle order. So I kind of threw away my systems eventually and just said, all right, let me just try to consolidate here, get him in a position where he needs to stack a system to just stay alive. With only 2 battleground systems out, kind of force him into a corner. All right, so I get EBO out, get Leia out. So I got Tanov, Gold Leader. I need to make sure that he isn't able, as he's only activating 14, he only has 1 saved. I pull Battle Plan, because he's going to pull it against me if I don't. Cap that drain. Figure he's probably got the Canceller, but all right, let me make sure he has it. I have a reacting Snub Fighter that would then activate Ballistix. I got Leia as forfeit fodder if I need to. And I got to start eating these pings again. Well, actually, this Spiral, this is the second turn I'm going to eat it. 1. Kind of hoping I could find 3PO. Kind of hoping I could pull off Collision at some point. When he eventually goes to space, because he knows he's not going to, well, he might not be able to win it by 12 if he's got to pay 3 for all these drains of 1 on the ground. So he has to go to space at some point. In retrospect, one thing I wish I had was an X-Wing laser cannon. I got 3 or 4 X-Wings as he cancels my projection of Skywalker. And it's really good against the shuttles. It does nothing against capitals, but sometimes you'll see an EBO with Tarn Mycin. Sometimes you'll see with X-Wing cannons. Sometimes you'll just see brute force with just 20 ships, and go from there. So, trying to find a good time to bait a grab on my from Visor Vision. I think Charlie was pretty disappointed he didn't do that. Pull my Kifex just so I don't draw it, but I think I eventually throw it away. Alright, so this is my turn. So this is big. Ariadu when Tarkin's there. And I'm sure Charlie, so obviously he's got the super shuttle here, though. He's got Tarkin. He doesn't have Emperor. Ariadu, your starships are deployed +1 with if Tarkin here. So that negates my deploy -1 from EBO, which was kind of big, because then it basically took away a ship that I could have deployed. Get my shield here. Aim high is good. Usually comes in handy, even though, the enforcement doesn't work. Barrier here is big on my capital, because I don't have any other capitals, and I have, 2 admirals and a Captain Hera. So that was the good play from Charlie. I don't grab it. Or no, I do grab it. Which I don't usually like grabbing barriers, but in this matchup where, again, I've kind of got tunnel vision into, I want to kick him out of space. And I don't really even have the pieces here, honestly. He's got a lot of forfeit. He's got 6 and 5. And the shuttle, actually, it is possible, maybe. And then whoa, did I just pass through? Yeah, because I'm not, ooh. Interesting. I think in my head, I also kind of assumed that the Emperor's on this thing, and it's just Ozil and Tarkin, so it doesn't have any immunity. But if I battle here, he's definitely going to kill both my ships, so I guess I couldn't have really battled. And I figure I can kind of soak up forfeit and counterbeat him again. His only choices here are to either run away to Raltair and lose battle plan, or run to Hoth in front of Haven, where my ships are super cheap. I get an extra battle destiny, and that's probably not going to be a good idea. But of course, the problem with EBO is I put so many cards on the table. Already my life force is getting pretty low. Losing Bright Hope. Losing We Wish to Board at Once. And here comes a second ship. And Vader's personal shuttle. So, of course, I'm sitting here with Collision. And I'm sitting here with a 1 on my loss pile. And I have my Walkling pull. But I don't have the math to Walkling, activate down, play Collision, and reach it. Because the fun thing about, well, not the fun thing, the thing to keep in mind, of course, with Walkling is you lose your 1 activation, which then changes the math on how far you can activate down. So I'm kind of debating what to do here. And the other thing here, with 3 ships, if I do Collision, he's just going to lose this thing. Which, part of me is like, that's kind of a waste of Collision. But at the same time, I think it can, having that 4 forfeit, it isn't nothing. So I go get Mon Calamari Admiral, cycle a card back in my deck. At this point, I could almost... No, I still can't activate down to it. Visor Vision, trying to bait a grab. I think I found 1 Imperial Command, make him lose a force, and then I got to eat a force, which I'm hoping I top deck a 1 here. I guess what I could have done, again, in retrospect, hindsight's 2020, maybe lose like the Corvette. No, that doesn't help me, because then I still... Right? Doesn't help me? I was hoping to top deck. If I top deck, which I did, I top decked the B-Wing. If that's a 1, I could pay 1, retrieve it, and then I activate 15, and then I could have got down to it, yeah. So I could have... Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping it's a 1. If I lose it from hand, I don't think the math works. Alright, so this is a big turn. Turn 4 here. Pay 3 to drain for 2. Got to push damage through. He's still up a lot. He's in pretty good position. He can satisfy resistance. He's got that Search and Destroy going. And now, again, I'm kind of tunnel visioned on. I want to knock him out of space. So I come down with the Corvette. Holdo, threaten the Holdo bomb, and he barriers my Holdo. Which, bummer. I do have a barrier canceller in here, but I don't have it in my hand right now. I don't want to put Kifex out to let him run away. Come down with Ray. Let's see what Ray can pull. Some tough choices here. I probably didn't pull the best one. There was 3PO in there. Han Chewie Falcon would have been too expensive to deploy. So I get Redemption. I think I really wanted to get Luke back, figuring I really could use that, and it's deploy, -3 at Hoth, but it would be, it's 2 at Hoth and 5 at Raidu, which means I couldn't battle. So I get Luke back, but of course, when I get Luke back, I still got to pay the force to deploy him. So he's -1 from EBO, -1 from Haven, but at least I can try to activate my retrieval. But EBO deploy -1 still works at Raidu. This is only starships that it impacts. Figure I go for a big battle here now. He's going to add 1 Destiny. I can't hold Obama because the whole Corvette is barriered. His add doesn't work because of Ballistics. And I think I'm going to go, what, 3-4 here, right? Didn't I play the leadership? Yeah, so I get a 7, which means he's got to lose 2 things. Plus Ray adds the 1, and he draws a 4. So I got to lose somebody good, right? I think I could have drawn 1 more Battle Destiny. Did I do that right? Because Hera plus Green Leader are both adding. So he loses the shuttle. He loses all the pilots. Now, if I collision the shuttle, if I collision Vader's shuttle, he would have lost that. What is that? Power 2 plus 4 forfeit. So then he's got to compensate for another 6, which he either loses probably one of the ships or he's got to peel a bunch. And that probably would have been a tough decision for him. But in retrospect, maybe I got a little greedy again with the collision. Sometimes, we'll get to it. All right, so again, I'm continuing to eat eat the damage from Search and Destroy. I'm making some tough decisions on what exactly to lose. And of course, he is taking the approach of I just got to keep staying alive, like the BGs, and keeping throwing bodies at those ships and making sure that I don't kick him out of space completely. The other part of me, so Rops has this thing which does the exchange, and I think part of me was like, I don't know, I guess my point here is, it crossed my mind that, can he just keep recurring his starships? But like, if he's got a starship in his hand, it's just as much as in the lost pile. So like, it's not like I got to worry about killing all his starships and then him recurring the starships, because he can only get a starship back if he's got 1 in his hand. So that, I think, was like a brief cross my mind of what am I doing here? Is this all worth it? You get Emperor out, Vader in space. That's a lot of forfeit. That's what, 17 forfeit plus Vader adds 3. So right there, he just got like 20 soak, we'll call it. At some point, I'm thinking maybe I might need to land or shuttle people at the Northridge just to get battle plan. And that again might have been the approach, like I was saying on turn 2. As soon as I saw Search and Destroy hit the table, maybe I needed to just pivot to the line of, okay, let me get my systems out, go wide as possible. He's probably only got 2 or 3 ships. If he only goes with 2, he might be vulnerable. I should just deploy very lightly and then try to counterbeat him in space. Or at the same time, if he plays it loose, or if he goes narrow and stacks in space, I can get more damage through and just try to pump through damage to get him below. He doesn't really have a lot of retreat. He might have an Erica in here. But other than that, like, I just kind of need to just get him down in Life Force. So he draws here. And this is where I'm thinking, so I didn't burn my Walkling yet. So I had a 1, a 1, a 3, and a 2, I think, in my reserve, which, I'm kind of thinking if I can successfully collision one of these ships, he's got to lose everything. And Gick. He probably has. Yeah, we know he has the Gick. But at least I would kick him out of space if I can successfully collision one of the ships. So I think I figure it's too valuable to take the chance. And I'm just like extending the game, which I think is not good when I'm narrow. Again, I'm just at 1 system with 1 damage. Or I'm only force training at 1 system, put it that way. He plays that. If I could have found the Walker sighting, I could have maybe sniffed in some retrieval, but now that he's got this, Walker sighting V is not going to work. Well, it'll work, but then I can't loop it or recur it, which is kind of one of the, if you kind of play things well, you might be able to get that retrieval a few times. All right, so look at my reserve deck. I got a 2 and a 1. So I have, a 50-50 chance of, if I do the blind collision, and I think I just got, what do I do here? So I battle. And this kind of begs the question of what should I have done? Should I have just played the collision there and risk it? So if I draw the 2 and whiff, okay, now I have a 1 Battle Destiny, but I have a lot of power. Maybe I deploy Tally. Why am I holding Tally this whole time? I probably should have just deployed Tally. And just more forfeit. Or I could have done that before. Depending on how the collision goes, maybe play it that way. But, yeah. So, I only have 2 Battle Destiny in my reserve. and I draw the 2. But this is good in that I know where my 1 is now, so I can play the collision after the battle. I don't want to redraw it because I don't have anything else to redraw with Captain Hera allowed me to. He draws a 1 Battle Destiny, which is a 4. Gets Ozzel back. Again, he's just trying to soak and prolong the game in space. And he loses Vader, and he loses Emperor, and he's still got the 2 ships here. And now I'm kind of like kicking myself to some extent of he's probably going to be able to just keep throwing bodies at this, and it's going to be really hard for me to kick him out of space, especially because he's getting the boost. Now, I draw the where you looking, so now I'm like, okay, maybe I can get my 3PO engine going. Of course, I think in one way or another, I'm sure Charlie sniffed out or just suspected that War Doomed would be a thing, and therefore he knew that was his grab. So as soon as I play this, I lose the ability to do the collision, which I probably should have just played the collision and then pulled 3PO, right? And then he's got 1 ship there that, again, even if he loses the shuttle, which he probably does, he loses 7 soak, we'll say, and I have, more stuff in space than more ships that I could try to just overflow the 1 and really truly try to get him out of space. But I think I just missed my chance to do the collision here. And he's now at 20 life force, 6 in hand. I'm not probably gonna, and he just loads up the ships with Emperor, Ozzel, Gideon, takes my sight here, and this is probably the game. Although I still felt like I had a chance here. What I should have done. So I think in one way or another, I know the where you looking for me is the bottom card, right? And I guess I tracked this down. So I got the collision to work. Oh, okay. I kind of lost myself. Yeah. So I got the collision to work. I think I walked link for the control at the end of the turn there. Sorry, I'm kind of yeah, that's what I did. So I tracked it, pulled out the collision, great. Knocked out the ship. Awesome. All right, so I still kind of got what I was hoping to do. Now, I don't activate anymore. I absolutely should have activated. I know there's a 5, but this is probably the biggest misplay that I did. Close Call V is my most hated card, and the card is completely in my head here, because I've been burned a lot of times. I activate down to 1 card left in my reserve deck. I go to battle. Oh, they play used Close Call V. Now I get no Battle Destiny, and I'm just like going nuts because I know it. So that's why I didn't activate all the way down to the 1, or all the way down to the 5. Also, I do have 2 Battle Destiny here, right? Yeah, so Green Leader's adding. I had the Holdo Bomb I could possibly use, which I do, because he's got this forfeit. So now I still have a chance to kick him out of space, right? So this is forfeit 5 from Imperial Rest Order, and Gideon is 6. That's 11. I need to draw 12 total, I think. And I don't have Ray. So if I Holdo Bomb, that adds 7, right? Because this is 4 and 3. Holdo adds the armor and hyperspeed to your total battle destiny. So I need to draw 5. I know there's a 5 at the bottom, but I figure, I got a 1 and a 5. And don't I, and I think this is Hera, or no, not Hera. Green Leader adds 1 with another Rebel Snub Fighter. So I'm getting 2 battle destinies. So I'm like, all right, well, I got 2. No matter what that other one is, it doesn't matter. I'm going to draw them both, right? Oof. So I'm so tunnel visioned on the Close Call V, and probably just caught up in the collision tracking that I do not account for Imperial Command. And that, and then even then, so I deploy 3PO, right? So I have not used 3PO yet. I know the bottom card's a 5. I don't know what the second top card is. I do the Holdo Bomb. Goes out of play. All right. Now he plays command. What am I doing? Right here. Okay, now I should just use my 3PO. I'm only drawing 1 battle destiny. I need that to be 12. Maybe Charlie has like a Dark Time for the Rebellion V. Maybe he has the Close Call now, and he could subtract from the 5 that I draw. Okay. But I should have made him show me your hand, like when you're playing poker. Like, I should not have just assumed that he's got the Close Call and play scared. And the Psy says that about like, you know, like you can't when you kind of get to the top level and you're in these competitive games, you're playing against good players. You can't play scared. This is a perfect example of playing scared. I hate to say it, but and maybe scared is kind of a pretty pejorative word, but it was just like overly cautious or in my own head of assuming things that were going to happen that were probably not, or I just need to take a calculated risk and a calculated chance. It just said, screw it, I'm going to draw that 5. If he's got the close call V and he takes it down to a 2 and my total's a 9 and he survives to live another day, so be it. Like, but at least I made him. So I should have just put down either of these cards. It honestly, it probably would have just hold the We're Doomed, because I would have shut it off. So put down Tally and get whatever card this was, draw the 5 and win. So I don't know, maybe. But I shuffled it because I'm like, all right, let me increase my chances. And of course, there's a 1. It's not like there's 2 5s. So I'm kind of hoping, okay, maybe I'll get a shuffle the 5 up to the top. I draw the 1. Charlie's probably not going to watch this, but I'd be curious if he had the, and maybe he wouldn't tell me anyway, even if he did, but if he had the close call V. So he draws low, but it really doesn't matter because he's now just going to be able to, he gets the +3, and both of his guys satisfy just enough attrition. Or just enough battle damage and easily enough attrition because I drew a 1 instead of a 5. So this is where I think the game is lost. He's at 17. I'm at 11. He's got a few more cards in hand. This is where I'm also kind of second-guessing myself of, I wish I got more damage through earlier in the game. Like, it's just, but this is kind of the thing with EBO. It's kind of the trade-off of, you want to do a lot of stuff. You got to pay for your drains. You also want to try to get some retrieval in with Luke, with Walkling, with Walker Sighting V. You want to try to have a credible Space Force at certain systems, but then not over-deploy. So it's a fine balance to strike. But I think that was a big thing, because if I could have knocked him out of space there, I don't know if he's going to be able to get back into space, and then he's got to pay 3 for his force drains, which he probably would just say, all right, I'm just going to pay 12 to drain for 4, and that finishes me off in a couple turns. But then maybe I get the Word Doom cycle going, and maybe I can just sustain and just get through a couple drains of 2, and I'm able to persist. So, and then of course he reinforces with 2 more characters, and this is basically a game. I'm just down too much. But I think I was tilted here. Yeah, I should have just played the Word Doomed. It would have saved me 1, 2, 3, 4 force. So that's pretty bad of me. But I think at this point I already lost the game because I messed up that one play in space. So in retrospect, I don't know if I'll, maybe if I have a really good reason to suspect the close call V, maybe I do the same thing. But if not, like, that's the type of situation where I just got to say, you know what, I'm just going to draw it. And again, so that's one thing, or the kind of the bigger picture thing back on turn 2. Maybe I needed to just pivot the approach and put out my Endor, put out my Kifex, go to Ralter, know I'm going to be paying to drain, and just prioritize damage, pushing through damage over everything else. And now I go down here to try to satisfy battle plan again, just to try to whittle him down, but he's got a few cards in hand. He's going to easily be able to kick me off here. All he needs to do is, if he can draw and track a 5, which again, Charlie's an excellent player, he's going to be able to do. He's going to be able to get rid of Luke and Leia, kick me off, and of course he grabs. Yeah, that's the other thing. So the Word Doomed would have got me 1 turn, but those 4 force would have been very critical on that turn. All right, he's got Veers and the Walker, and in retrospect, he could have even put Veers and the Walker up here if he needed to. So I kind of, eventually I guess maybe drew into that, but I had my chance, I think. Again, assuming he doesn't have close call V in his hand the entire game, which is very possible. But in retrospect, I wish I made him prove it. All right, so that's the end of this. So that's my GEMPC. So I got booted out. Charlie moved on. I think he's playing Mike Turner in the round of 16, so good luck to Charlie. What are we at here? So we are at 51 minutes. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. I will, let's see. Yeah, let's try to, this one. Yeah, I have 3 other games. Yeah, all right, let's do this one. So I have 3 OCS games from February. I was profit in each one of these. I finished 9-3. I finished 6-0 with Dark with Hunt Down B, and I finished 3-3 with profit. These are my 3 losses. I'm not sure if we'll do all 3 in this one. Maybe we'll just go pretty fast. Maybe I'll try to give like a Cliff Notes version. Really try to keep these to like 10 minutes apiece. All right, so I'm playing Heisenberg, the San Diego Super Open runner-up. Daniel, who has gotten very, very, very good with this deck. He's played it a lot. Agents of Black Sun, he's got a pretty good start here. Or let me put it this way, I think he chose the right aliens with Django and Duro and Probot. And he has Avazin, which he shows me here. This game, I think, this would actually be pretty quick, because I think he played it very well. I think he had a few things go very well, and I did not. So I get Boston Access Chambers out. It's good that Probot is not there, or not, that he's at the audience chamber and can't go to my non-battleground. My opening hand isn't that good, though. I don't have any Lukes. And we'll talk through this. I'll kind of go fast, but eventually he wins. I'll try to figure out what the moral of the story here is. I play Goldenrod. He's doing pretty standard turn 1 Agents of Black Sun stuff. Of course, he's got Probot, who can break the cover of an undercover spy. So, 3PO and a gift, pretty common with Prophet, and he's there waiting to do that. So, he plays that Anticipation Master Luke to make him play for 2. I get 3PO out. Figure I start cycling cards. Play some Battlegrounds, get some activation going. This matchup with a gift, I think it's a lot better for Prophet, obviously. And then kind of depends on how quickly I can get Luke out and how quickly I can keep Luke out. And of course, you got to play around the Shizer's Bounty, play around barriers and disarms, all the fun stuff that are typically in Black Sun. But I have Luke. I have Luke's hunting rifle. Yay. The other card in my hand, which we'll probably see in a minute. Figure I can lose some cards here. Lose Nabrin, Rebel Leadership from reserve. The hope is that I can get some of these cards back if I can free Han in a reasonable time frame. And of course, I have General Leia. I have Someone Who Loves You. I have a Master Luke that'll deploy for 2/4s. I have Chewbacca that will deploy for 2/4s. So I have some pieces here. But of course, just knowing there's going to be barriers and Imperial Barrier and Shizer's Bounty. So we'll see what I do here. But I think this ended fairly quickly. All right, so I get an Underworld out, which gets me an extra activation. I go Din. Okay, that was the last card I couldn't see there. Din into Leia, and the card I pull, Jedi Lev. I think I'm hoping to find. I feel like this happens a bunch. Leia's blaster rifle. He did not barrier or Shizer's Bounty either of these characters. And I'm going to put Luke down here and get his saber out. I can do the run Luke run. I put back something. Just kind of go for a beat here. So, this could go pretty well. I got Protector. I can add 2 Battle Destiny. Din adds 1. What the heck happened here? Why didn't I win this? This is a very good setup. So I play Someone Who Loves You. I get Han. I get cards back. I get some more power. And battle, run Luke run. I don't retrieve because I don't have any cards in my lost pile. Luke is there. I think all this happens. I think I force out a kick. I draw pretty poorly. So let's see. Anakin's not good. Lando. I am fortunate to hit. I play Protector. I'm not going to play Skywalkers. I did have the Skywalkers for the barrier, and I have Clash. But I guess I had a feeling that he had the Gick. Or I just didn't want to, put all my, oh, yeah, this happened. Yeah. So I draw 4 Battle Destiny, but there are a total of 8, which is terrible. His goes to 0 because of Master Luke. He plays the Gick. I grabbed the Gick. So now he's got to, okay. All right. So that was pretty good, all considered. And now, but he's got the drain, he's got battle plan satisfied, or neither of us have battle plan out. And this is actually what kind of happens I think one thing that was this game? No, it was the other game against Casey. So he's shield busted right now, right? Like I don't think we haven't seen a cold feet. He Tarkin's bounties. There's the cold feet. All right, so he gets his battle order. And he gets U3PO. Now I don't have pieces for U3PO. I think I put back Luke's blaster thingy, which I can get back out. Get Lando, who I can then get a use pile pull with. Okay, there's Luke's thing. General Jar Jar and Lando. Okay. And get a use pile pull. Get a neighbor. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, this is where I'm kind of like, oh, he has the Gick. I play the neighbor and he's got the other Gick. Or no, he's got Utakuta in a 6-card hand, which is reasonable. But if I have it here, I mean, if I get this neighbor through, it's a good game. Like, it would be really bad for him if I could get all these people over here. I don't know what he would do. Did he already use the white? Probably. I'd have a ton of Battle Destiny, ton of power. So that was game-saving Utaguta solo. And then I think from here, he just basically goes super wide. So he disarmed Lando, right? Oh, no, he Caesar's bounty, Lando. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. He force pushes. Yeah, and he's just like, I'm just going to go wide. I have battle order on my side. This point, he's probably like, oh, there's no gift. So that's good. That's not coming out, at least. And he draws up a healthy hand. Life Force, it's not too bad. I'm pinging for 2. I'm draining for 2. Maybe, I felt like this game went worse than it actually did. Alright, so we got Anakin who gets barriered. Then I go Ahsoka. Draw their fire, try to get some force back. Knowing that could possibly be a liability for me. Greedo is not someone I want to see. Because then I think I draw bad here, right? I needed to draw, I was hoping to draw 5 to get rid of both of them. And what did I draw? A 4. I think maybe, I probably should have verified. Wonder if I had like a 50-50 chance. Or I guess maybe I had 2 4s, and with Anakin I might have been able to get it through. Either way, he draws a 6, so I lose Ahsoka, and I don't get rid of both of his guys, so that's bad. And now Anakin's open to a counter beat. Of course I have a Hujix, but I just know this is not going to go well. I think I probably conceded here a little earlier than I typically do. But he's going to hit me now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to draw for 6. He's going to battle here with somebody. Probably hit him. So that's 7. So, like, I'm losing a ton of force. And I'm just going to be in a spot where I'm not going to be able to keep up with the drain race. Even though I'm draining for... I could pay 3 to drain for 2. I could ping for 1 or 2, depending if he attacks me. But I just don't have any characters right now. I could Jedi left somebody back. But again, it's just going to get tight because I'm going to have to lose a lot of cards. So, yeah, well played by Daniel. That Utaguta was definitely a game saver. All right, let's go to the next game. This is the retro game. This will be a different stream. Let's do this one. Playing against Casey. This was my first game of the month, I think. I think at this point, Casey had a bunch of wins. He finished 10-2. And I have things in here to deal with ROPS. I don't mind seeing, especially, at least not a traditional ROPS. So... see how this unfolds. All right. Typical setup stuff. So nothing too special here. Again, we kind of just saw some of this with the other game against Charlie. All right, so I get Underworld out. Strategy with this, Underworld will protect my drain, so I could just hopefully get through a drain of 2 or 3 at one location, and then just try to do direct damage. Maybe contest him some places. He's probably he's definitely gonna get the drain at 2 at Arayadu probably, but it's just a matter of how can I manage the other spots. So just cycling cards here. This is a matchup where it's not always great to put out this moisture farm because he's gonna have Vader. He's probably might have a trooper, but it could become a liability. And that's probably why I didn't put it out turn 1. So he's giving me a bunch of force. Pretty good hand here with 2 Lukes, a Clash, get a Saber. He plays it pretty conservative by just stacking at the spaceport docking bay. Maybe respecting the fact that I could probably drop Leia and a blaster rifle, and if all he has is like a barrier to protect him, that would be big. Oh, you know what the big thing with this game was he eventually, I think it actually took him a while to do it, but he eventually gets restraining bolt on 3PO, and that's big. All right, rebel artillery. I lose that from hand, maybe just anticipating that I'm gonna free Han and get it back. So wow, I have a lot of characters in my hand here. So I'm at 22 force. Played it, pretty patiently on my first couple turns. This is gonna be the big turn to drop people and flip and set up. This is definitely a matchup where having Leia's gun on route here is very helpful. So I go Lando for the use pile pull. Did I miss what I did out there? Chewie, Luke there to protect Han. Din will add a battle destiny. Leia's gun. Let's see what happens here. So this is looking pretty good. I will shoot. Ozzel, hit. He goes away. Din kicks in, but I say no. He has sand to help him. I draw a pretty good battle destiny. Or not, weapon destiny with Chewie. So that's going to take out Desan. And he draws pretty well. He's going to get +3, so 8. So I choose to lose Chewie and Din. And he does not have any overflow. Masterful moves. I think he whiffs. Yeah. I think I might have been like, ooh, does that mean he doesn't have a kick right now? So I'm losing cards here. He's got 1, 2, 3. Decree V is good for him to have out. Enforcement. Battle order. This is a turn I think I was like, okay, please don't counterbeat my Leia. Instead he goes here. I think I need to find Harksef here. And I think in retrospect, that would have been huge. I play Visor Vision, hit a bunch of commands, but he just reduces it. Or I hit Dark Maneuvers, whatever I hit. All right, so now I free Han. Oh, wow. So I get my force back. And now I can ping for 2, which turns into a 1. I could drain for 2 because I have 2 aliens here, so I'm protected by Underworld. And now I'm just trying to flip him back, I guess. So I go down with Yoda. There's a way that I'm hoping to lose this so then I can peel 1. He has to lose Thrawn. And then he flips back. And then he's got to actually work especially with only 6 cards in his hand. So fortunately I don't draw like a 3 and he doesn't play like a close call V. That would suck. He draws a 6, which turns into, or no, he swaps. What? Oh, he drew 2 there? All right, so yes, I do what I planned to do, where I peeled a card, got him to flip, and then I still had to lose. Did I have to lose him? What happened there? Oh yeah, he had way more power than I did. So instead of losing 6 more, I just lost Yoda. All right, so just make this trade-off, kick him off that site. But this drain of 2, so I'm up. So this is actually looking kind of decent. He's getting drains of what is this? If your Imperials control 3 battlegrounds, oof. So it includes this. So this is now 2/2/1. Not what I want to see. Tossing cards. Who's my neighbor? And he gets Tarkin's bounty. Now he gets the bolt. So this is bad. That was a pretty big swing. Goes to the trample. He has that masterful move tracked. I have the perimeter scan. I should have, in retrospect, just grabbed it. I don't know what I was planning else to grab, like command or kick or close call. I don't know. But in this matchup, I probably should have been like, and I wasn't sure if he's playing 1, 2, 3 tramples, whatever it might be. But with the way this played out, grabbing the trample would have been a very good play. All right, so he goes wide again, flips. But I'm still able to get through, 3 damage, which isn't much less than what he's doing. At least I'm pushing through something, and I had the head start in Life Force. But of course, I kind of need to be ahead going into the latter parts of this game because he's going to have battle order, and I'm not. I go and get Chewie back. This is where I absolutely should have grabbed the trample, especially if this was my game plan. I think the way the destinies were, I was like, I'd rather have Chewie block the drain and then hit him in a defensive battle, possibly use the Hujix if I need. But I think the risk was too high for me to battle myself and try to hit. It's only armor 6, but again, that stupid close call V. That card is so good. And he's changing how much he wants to activate. He's going to try to trample Chewy, obviously. So I lose my Boomar Monk, which would have been helpful in this game. I think at this point I'm thinking... I remember this is the game where I was... for some reason I thought he was shield busted, but the very first play of the game he played Cold Feet. Alright, so Chewy dies the trample. That was not a good plan by me. Valuable 5 force I spent. Probably should have just put Ray out and tried to get the retrieval going. Or somehow made it a priority to find Harksef. Maybe I lost him. Maybe I should have Jedi left him or whatever. So just cycling cards here. So this is where I'm up. It's going to my turn, and I'm at 22, and he's at 18. And that's about to swing even more, depending on what I do here. So I activate everything, just ping. But I can't really like battle into him anywhere very effectively. So I think what would have been nice if I could try to get some of these general layer retrievals. If I could battle with a resistance character, but Casey played this pretty well here. I have the run Luke run, but I'm not really gonna be able to do much. I gotta cut through Veers here, which I need like a smoke screen or a track 6 or something. But I don't think that was the best turn. What I spent like 12 force between Ray and Obi. I don't know if it advanced my board state at all. Honestly, like I get a retrieval with Ray. I thought I was gonna get it. That's where it was. I thought I was gonna get a force strength 3 here, but he eventually pulls resistance, and I'm like, wait a minute. And he played Cold Feet as the very first play of the game. So definitely pay attention to that stuff in the early game. I draw a 7, which I kill Arica, but Casey wisely played Arica to be forfeit fodder and not lose Veers and Blizzard 8, because this drain of 2 at Jabba's Palace is a pain in the butt. And now he's got the 6 tracked, and he tramples Leia, and this is where again I'm like, I wish I could grab that trample the first time around, because this is, with the new update that makes, let me pause this. Anytime a lost interrupt resolves, it goes out of play. So like stuff like a close call lost or force lightning or a lot of stuff. But the trample's used, and same thing with command. So those should probably be the grabs. I think Unita is a way to get rid of one of those as well, but no, it isn't. No, it isn't, because they're not lost. They're not going lost bow. So this, I think I'm just kind of messing around. I don't know what my plan is here, but just trying to stop damage. Threaten the run Luke run, but what's the run Luke run really going to do against Veers with 2 destinies and +4 to total? So that wasn't good. I think I just misused Ray pretty bad. He fights me here. I think this is where I use my Hujix. Or no. Yeah, I'm using my Hujix here. 3PO bolted was a pain because I couldn't cycle stuff. So Casey wins a pretty close one. But, yeah. So what I learned from this one, grab the trample. And, really think about those late game plays. Like, what is probably going to happen and what is really worth it. Should I just have stuck Ray inside? Like, she wouldn't get the drain, but I don't know. Maybe I should have just tried to bunker on one of their Altair sites more so. Because especially with the lightsaber, get drains of 2 through. I don't know. Probably should have reinforced Leia or done something for that trample. All right. That's that. What are we at here? Hour 10. All right. Let's do one more. This is the good old classic. This might have been another one that resolved. Well, maybe it seems like it resolved quickly. Playing against Worf CC2 with my Prophet, which I have been using the Mithril. Just because this matchup I think used to favor Prophet more so, but now CCT's just got a lot of things going for it. Even though it's been kind of modified a little bit over the last couple of virtual sets, it's still really strong. And Prophet needs to like strike at a. It can't wait. It can't strike too fast, and it can't wait too long, because then it's kind of screwed. But this one, fortunately, I have Someone Who Loves You, which I can play because I'm not using, because it's not dark. Dark's Jabba's Prize, which, what's that, goes out of play, because if this is the case, may not be targeted by someone who loves you. So light side kind of loses that stopgap to release Han. So I'm making the trade-off, but I'm allowing him, by using the Mithril, he can use IG-8V and tunnel each turn and find key cards. So that's where, if I wait too long, he's going to find all the key cards he needs to make sure he doesn't ever get booted from the audience chamber. At the same time, if I don't go to the audience chamber, he can, find undercover spies or find just characters in general just to block my journey to the Carbonite chamber, that type of thing. So my hand isn't that good. I have no Lukes, no Leias. He's going to do his typical turn 1 with Fett. I'll speed this up here. Get my activation out, or some of my activation, not all of it. Cycle cards I don't think I need. Get Leia. Okay, cool. So now I'm like, all right, I got a Hugix, I got a Leia. I could just free Han and run away. Try to play the long game here, but of course CCT is going to retrieve 1 every single turn. And I just pass. I just basically, and this is what happens a lot with Prophet and CCT. It's just kind of like I don't want to make the mistake. I'll let you make the mistake. So it's a lot of passing. With the new Monarch and Grimtosh shields, it takes a little different route. I mean, he's just stacking CCT. This worse than I played this matchup back in the 2021 MPC. He's got 2 droids here to get around Leia Rebel Princess. He's got 2 Battle Destiny because Lady Proxima adds 1. Greedo is forcing me to pay to fire weapons. Jabba can double any alien's power, so that's like another 4. I'm not, he can save a bunch of force, so he doesn't have to worry about draw their fire, paying for interrupts and tricks. Yet he can still tunnel for a key card he needs. So I have 19 here. I just go for escape pod combo, I guess. What did I do there? I cycled the Hugix and then grabbed it. So I guess I abandoned the AC to some extent for the time being. Try to set up a journey to 3 with Luke. Figure I got some tricks here with a Clash. I got a neighbor and I could run away with. Jedi Lev if I draw a bad Destiny. He comes down with a bunch of bounty hunters. So 3 bounty hunters. I'm going to go to run away. Nice cheap 1 force to spend. And he grabs it, but doesn't have a canceller. So now he's just going to put another droid who adds a Battle Destiny at the audience chamber. And this is not pretty good. He's going to retrieve 1 a turn. He could pay to... Alright, he doesn't have to pay yet. He could just drain, chip away at my life force. This is very fortified. So this is the turn I just say, screw it. Let me fight now. I can't really wait much longer. It's not going to get any better. Come down with Anakin. Anakin Saber. Alright, he plays There Is No Try, which means he probably has a trick that he's hoping that I don't sense. I Clash Boba, which means he can't play the Battle Canceller Interrupt, which I think is called He's No Good to Me Dead. And then I'm just going to try to cut through all these aliens. I have a leadership with Leia. I have a Skywalkers. I have a Chewbacca Protector. So I have a bunch of stuff. Of course, these are all deploy +1 because of Despair. Deploy +1 with the prize. Chewie cancels Greedo's tech so I can get my weapons to fire. But of course, I kind of have to worry about Forlom. He plays Stunning. You can't do that with the Mithril. It doesn't work. There was a question here, a rules question, of if Boba is excluded, is the Mithril inactive and therefore can Stunning Leader be played if I can click on it, but it's so small. I don't know if I can do it. There we go. Cancel Stunning Leader here. So he cancels it. I wouldn't have mind reverting and just saying keep your Stunning Leader, but he didn't really ask. I did say here, hey, if Jemp is bugged, let's cancel the game, because it's a pretty important play that if he could have got that Stunning Leader through by the rules, but Gurgal confirmed that there's kind of like a unique exception, I guess, with Frozen Captives. All right, so Forlom fires. I don't really have any more. I have a Rebel Leadership and a Change the Odds. I should have. This is where I screwed up. So this is the takeaway in this game. It's crossed my mind several times already to this point. This is turn 4. Worfs hasn't pulled Coward. So I could play, or no, maybe this is, I'm thinking the next turn. Yeah, I'll get there. But he hasn't played Coward yet. So I could play Someone Who Loves You, free Han, get my 5 retrieval, which of course I don't have to pay for because Hanvi says or be destroyed. Force retrieval with or be destroyed is immune to secret plans. But I guess I get cute because I don't want to expose Han to weapons or just generally getting killed, whatever. And why did I not play Rebel Leadership here? I didn't play it yet. All right, so we're still like doing a bunch of stuff. He's doubling. I'm swinging. Greedo's Texas canceled. I swing and hit somebody, probably Greedo. Rebel Leadership to limit. I draw pretty good. Yeah, these are all. Well, they're not +1 because Anakin's game text is canceled from Forlom. Draw a total of 11, which is pretty good. So I'm able to cut through a lot of characters. He draws a 2. I got to lose somebody. I lose 3PO. Again, thinking, oh, I'll probably get him back. And get him right back out again with Seeking an Audience. And it's better that I have these, 4 means to, fight a counterbeat. And then here comes the fun. Here comes Disarmed. That's not good. He gets a Force back. He gets a Force Drain. I'm not going to pull Battle Plan in this matchup because I'm never going to satisfy it. He comes down with Zuckuss, and of course he's going to have plenty more. So now Forlom's going to add the Battle Destiny. Shizwar, Grumgar. And this is where... So, this is my hesitation. So I still have time to play Someone Who Loves You. So Fett's still clashed. His first action... I guess he passes or he does something. I'm going to swing. At this point, I should have... This is where it's important to read your cards. So now I'm hesitating because I don't want to play Someone Who Loves You. Because if I free Han, Kira's text kicks in. When forfeit at same location as Han or Voss may satisfy all remaining battle damage against you. But she does not satisfy all remaining attrition. So I'm worried, she can just cover everything. And then, and then... he's still going to have this huge force here. Maybe Han dies. I don't know. Or I'm just going to get weakened. I'm overthinking it, of course. So I should have taken the opportunity to play Someone Who Loves You. I get Han. I get some more power. And shouldn't have been worried at all about what Kira's game text said. So now he finally plays Coward. Lost my opportunity. Kicking myself. He draws a 5. I'm kind of getting desperate here. I subtract 1. I think I draw a 1 here. Yeah, oof, brutal. So I'm down 23 force. If I had Han, he's another 3 or 4. I could have lost maybe Luke, Leia, Chewie, or something like that. I would have had 5 more force back, including 3PO. But 3PO's gone. So right now, Life Force, I'm at 31. I'm up 4. He has a stacked audience chamber. I guess what do I do here? Yeah, I just run away. Play Hark's F, so I can reduce the drain of 2, even though I'm going to run away, get some force back. But some things are just buried there, and they shouldn't be. Key cards like 3PO. Yeah, so it's kind of downhill, I think, mostly from here. So he transfers Boba Fett's back. Now we could start tunneling. Actually, he hasn't really been tunneling, now that I think about it, because Boba has to escort the captive in order to use that canceller interrupt. Then I think when he's clashed, I don't think he can transfer a captive because it's movement. I think. All right, so just drawing cards here. Trying to fight back. Get back into this. Hark's F's going to reduce the drain of 3. Oh yeah, because Jabba's Pride or Despair adds 1. And it's actually, maybe I take this back. This doesn't look too bad, but now he's going to activate Battle Plan or play Battle Order. I'm going to take that back. He has 4 shields out. There it is. Okay, there's the cold feet. So that was a bummer to see. I don't know why I paid 3 to drain for 1 there. That probably wasn't smart. Leia's gun, Din, Lando, use pile pull. I get Obi because I get a key card back. So right now this doesn't look too bad. Uh-oh. So now I'm threatening ping. I'm, ping. I could play Rebel Artillery to ping, but I can't cycle it, of course, because I don't have 3PO anymore. So Hark's F reduces the drain, and let's see. All right, now he's getting You'll Be Dead, which is another ping. Ponda Baba, Snuva. I'm gonna target Ponda. Mara Jade's not who I want to see here. Yeah. He's getting the scum retrieval, so now he's getting forced back, even though he's throwing all these cards on the table, all these nouns. Swings at Lando. He is hit. Forfeit 0. Go for the exclude. I think now maybe my plan is maybe I can counter beat on Panda. So that would have been good if I was able to do that, but we tie. So that was a bummer. Maybe counter beat. I don't know what our situation was with the Gek, but maybe that was the one path I was hoping for. So I got 3 Battle Destiny because Lando adds 1 on Tatooine. Din adds 1 with an alien. I only draw a total of 10. And he loses in a way that he does not expose himself to a counter beat, and Din survives. But now I lose that extra ping because Lando's dead. Again, actually, this isn't too bad. I got artillery for a ping. I'm up here, but I don't know if the board state really favors me. He gets another shield. I go Visor Vision for the cold feet. Ping. Let's see here. So right now, this actually isn't too bad. I still got a Luke, a Chewie, Obi-Wan, 2 Chewies, a Jar Jar. Harksef is doing his thing. Oh, okay. This is the problem. Yeah, so he just comes down and suicides Aura. And I was kind of surprised that he went for Hark and not Han. Because if he hits Han, it's like game over, basically. Like, then I got to put down Obi-Wan. I got to find a way to get Han back. I mean, I have ways to help Han out, but he really wanted to get rid of Harksef. So I go leadership. I figure, okay, let me try to give him a beat down, at least make him force out a Gik. Perhaps. But, of course, I miss. So this, and he's going to draw 5, which means I need to lose Leia. Battle Destiny's low. So that's not very helpful. So he's got to peel 1. And I got to lose Leia, which is a bummer. But I can save her. Again, if 3PO was putzing around, I'd be able to track Han, or track Leia back. With 3PO getting back in my hand. So now it's just kind of getting a little desperate here of... I'm up technically, but he's got better board state. And Han is very vulnerable. So I got to go help him out. I go and get Obi. I go get Harksef back. But I don't have enough force to deploy him and actually use him effectively. So I figure, let me replenish my hand a little bit. He's getting some pings, different damage. We're about even, actually, in life. Ghana comes down, which means that my drain of 2 at Jabba's Palace isn't going to work. He puts Han in, gets some force back. Yeah, CCT just gets real... If it can just draw out the game, that's good for it. All right, so I retrieve 3PO. He lets me get 3PO back. I guess... What am I doing here? So I guess I figure I'm not going to be able to keep up in the damage race. So he's doing 1, 2, 3... He's going to be able to drain 4. You know, I don't know if I'm going to have the... Man, I don't know. Maybe I took a bad line here. Maybe I should have just said, screw it. Let me let Hark keep doing his thing. But I just don't think the math is working. I think I told myself I gotta try something, or I'm just going to lose this based on simple math. So I just move a bunch of people in and hope I can just chip away at these characters. But I have Chewie's weapon. But of course, you can just 4-lom Chewie, so this probably wasn't a good strategy either, but kind of between a rock and a hard place. Just, yeah, and he even disarms Chewie, so this is, good game here. Yeah, Ortug, Zam, ugh. And this is just Gabe. He's got 2 Battle Destiny. I don't have any weapons. I could use Jar Jar. Did I not use Jar Jar at 4-lom? Oh, no, he canceled Jar Jar, so... And Chewie's weapon's gone, so yeah, he didn't even need to shoot at Chewie with 4-lom. So this is where, yeah, and I just like, all right, I'm just going to lose here, and I have no board state then. Han is dead. So yeah, I guess lesson from that game, definitely just don't get too cute. I should have played Someone Who Loves You earlier, and I probably should have, again, as usual, had a longer view of the game, knowing that he's going to set up he's going to set up at the carbonite chamber. He's going to get the ping going. He's going to do 4 or 5 damage a turn. So either I need to make sure I get my damage through and hopefully get Ray set up to retrieve. And that should have just been the option, and just try to win a close game. because it was becoming increasingly difficult to get a beatdown in. And obviously Boris, another really really good player like Charlie and Casey and Heisenberg, all the people I played here. So, he was not gonna kind of walk into a big beatdown. So yeah, all right. So that's it. So I'll do another stream soon with the 2 retro streams I have, or 2 retro replays that I have. But thanks for tuning in again. Hopefully, if you're someone who's trying to get better at open, you learned a few things from my mistakes. I know I always try to, again, like I said, like have takeaways, not make the same mistakes. Sometimes I just overthink things, but sometimes losing, I shouldn't say sometimes, oftentimes losing is the best way to get better and remember your mistakes so that you don't do them again. Thanks everyone for tuning in live. I'll put this on the PC YouTube channel and in my maybe the game replay section, since we have a playlist for that. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the PC, twitch.tv/SWCCGPC. And yeah, also, if you have any feedback, any criticisms, any critiques, hopefully constructive, be happy to hear them. And I'm always, if you have some replays that you want to share, again, I'm not, a world-class player, but I can, try to look through and provide some pointers based on what I'm seeing from just a third-person perspective. All right, everyone, take care. May the force be with you.